Hello 20-somethings, it's Meg here, on Fridays like always. The theme this week is books, so I'm probably going to talk about two of my favorite books. One of my favorite books is Howl's Moving Castle, and then my other favorite book is called Brave Story. Howl's Moving Castle, there's a movie based off of it under the same name by Miyazaki and the Studio Ghibli crew. The book is by the author Diana Wynne Jones, and it's one of my favorite books of all time. The plot of the book is a bit different from the movie. It's got a pretty different ending, and there's just a lot that's different in relation to The Witch of the Waste. I'm not going to spoil too much. One of the main differences between the book and the film is that Howl has a curse placed on him by the Witch of the Waste, and this curse is a poem that's actually a poem in the real world where we are right now. The poem is called Song, Go and Catch a Falling Star, and I love this book so much that I've actually memorized the first two stanzas of the poem that are in the book. The third stanza is not in the book, and because of that, I don't really have that one memorized. But just for fun, I'm going to recite those first two stanzas right now, because why not? Go and catch a falling star, get with child a mandrake root. Tell me where all past years are, who cleft the devil's foot. Teach me to hear mermaids singing, or to keep off envy stinging, and find what wind serves to advance an honest mind. If thou beest born to strange sights, things invisible to see, ride 10,000 days and nights till age snow white hairs on thee. And thou, when thou return'st, wilt tell me all strange wonders that befell thee, and swear nowhere lives a woman true and fair. So it's kind of amusing that I went and memorized the first two stanzas of the poem just because I loved the book so much. I'm not sure that's something that many people would do, but I went and did it just because I was just so obsessed with the book. I've read it several times, and the funny thing is I don't even own a copy anymore. The second book is called Brave Story. I also don't own a copy of that one anymore. I let a friend borrow it in high school, and I never saw that friend ever again. The book is about 800 pages. Actually, one of my favorite things about the book is that the pages are, they're not normal paper. They are kind of glossy, and it feels completely different from any other book I've ever picked up to read. And this book is about a 11-year-old boy, and it was in the young adult section when I bought it, and for the record, I do not think it should be young adult. I think it should be for adults. It's very, very, very dark. It's written by a Japanese author, and basically the entire book is just this 11-year-old struggles going on in the real world, and he's kind of run away to this fantasy world where he can get one wish to fix everything that's going on in the real world. He ran away to this world with that promise of that wish, and he wants to wish his family back together again, because long story short, his family is falling apart, and if he does not wish his family back together, his mom and himself may end up dying. But it's one of the darkest books I've ever read. There's just a lot that goes down. It goes through a lot of social issues that are in the real world that have also been translated into this fantasy world where things are a little bit easier to understand. Like in this world, there's a lot of racism, and that's one of the things that it pulls into the book. Because there's not different ethnicities of people, but more of there's literally different races. There's the animal race of humans, there's the magical race of humans, there's the normal humans, stuff like that. But both of these books are fantasy. I love fantasy. I also love a lot of manga and things like that. Those are typically fantasy, the ones that I like as well. My favorite manga book, if we're going to go on that route as a book as well, is Tokyo Ghoul, and that one's definitely fantasy, and it also has a lot of darker themes similar to the way Brave Story is extremely dark. The thing I like about these dark books is a lot of times it hits on topics that no one else wants to discuss. They can kind of emphasize the dark parts of reality in a way that people can see them more evidently, and I just think it's fantastic, and I just love it. But yeah, those are my favorite books. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope y'all come back next week to watch more of our videos.